Hurricane Melissa takes aim at parts of the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos while leaving a path of destruction in its wake. Your forecast across the Caribbean and the Bahamas starts right now.
This is Meteo Mundo.
Hi, my friends. Rusty back here at Meteo Mundo. We are your home for Caribbean weather. It is nice to see you on this Wednesday. I hope you're doing well. Coming up in this video, the newest information on Hurricane Melissa. We'll talk about what the storm has been doing today, the areas that are likely to be impacted as we go through the remainder of this Wednesday, and what has happened in areas that have already been very hard hit. As always, Meteo Mundo is sponsored by the Lane Law Firm of Central Florida, your hometown homeowners insurance attorneys. You get storm damage of any kind, wind, hail, hurricane, flood. They'll walk you through every step of the insurance claim process. Go to leanomelaw.com for more information. Appreciate everyone joining me yesterday for our live coverage of Hurricane Melissa over Jamaica. We'll look at some of the aftermath in Jamaica coming up in just a minute. But I do want to start with what's been happening with Melissa today, and unfortunately it brought devastating conditions to portions of Cuba, where they had a very significant storm surge and up to 10 to 20 and maybe even 25 inches of rain. We're beginning to see Melissa move away and now just southwest of portions of the central and the southeast Bahamas, where hurricane warnings are up right now from the Cat Island area through Exuma, Long Island, Rum Cay, San Salvador, the Acklins, Inagua, and Mayaguana. And a tropical storm warning continues right now for the Turks and the Caicos. At this point in time, right now, as I record this, Melissa has winds of 100 miles an hour, moving off to the northeast at 15. So we're going to see some acceleration in the storm as we go through this late Wednesday into overnight Thursday morning. Now, as Melissa gets back into the very warm waters near the Bahamas in the Western Atlantic Basin here, you can start to see a flare-up of those thunderstorms again right over portions of Long Island. Again, a few lightning strikes, but these whites and these purples are indicative of very high cloud tops. Now, Melissa certainly isn't nearly as organized as what it was when it went over Jamaica and over portions of Cuba. Obviously, the land interaction has, made Melissa struggle a bit, which is good news, and the intensity has come down. But Melissa could potentially strengthen a bit as it moves through the central and the southeast Bahamas through the remainder of this Wednesday. So we are expecting hurricane conditions in these areas. Now, as you guys know, we do have some live cameras here in the Bahamas. Unfortunately, those are offline, as many of these areas have already lost power. The latest that I have read from the Bahamian government is they've had at least 9 in total evacuation flights through a lot of the southeast and portions of the central Bahamas. So hopefully some of the areas that are most going to be impacted by Melissa, there's very little population left. If you are still on these islands, you have to prepare for winds that are likely to be sustained in some areas of nearly 100 miles an hour. Very heavy rainfall, though Melissa moving quickly is likely to, undercut some of those totals, but still enough for some flash flooding and just some overall inundation of water. Obviously, we're getting some thunderstorms on the west side, but, hopefully the wind field isn't as strong over the central Bahamas from Long Island, Exuma, Rum Cay, San Salvador, especially up as far north as Cat Island. Anywhere north of there, Eleuthera, New Providence, and Andros, and up towards Grand Bahama, you guys are going to be just fine. Strongest winds should be center and east of where Melissa goes, so the Acklins and Mayaguana, and far enough away are the Turks and Caicos where I'm not expecting hurricane conditions there, though they could still get some wind gusts into the 50, 60 plus mile an hour range from time to time, and obviously some potential for some heavier rain there as well. So overall, the impacts look like this. We could get 90 to 110 mile an hour winds in portions of the Bahamas in gusts for today, and some sustained winds that could get close to that in a couple of areas near the center of Melissa. So this is still very powerful, still a very dangerous hurricane, and if you are still in those areas, you need to take that very, very seriously. Rainfall totals of 5 to 10 inches, so not nearly as much as other areas that have been impacted by the storm, but this is still enough to cause some areas of flash flooding. And I think the biggest concern is going to be the inundation of water, right? Storm surge of 5 to 8 feet above normal ground level. If you guys live in these areas, let me know in the comments section below what you're seeing. You can always send me a picture or video at mymediamundo@gmail.com as well. Again, Turks and Caicos are likely to experience tropical storm conditions through the remainder of this Wednesday, with winds 40 to 70 miles an hour on the upper end of that band. Those should be in gusts rather than sustained conditions. Now look, this can still cause problems in Turks and Caicos. There could be some infrastructure loss here as well in the form of power and internet. Rain of 1 to 3 inches, again, far enough away where we don't get the strongest rain bands, and at most a storm surge of 2 to 4 feet. But thankfully it does look like the storm surge issue in Turks and Caicos should be minor in most areas. But again, this is going to be a relatively strong storm that could slightly intensify late on this Wednesday. Now down the road, you're going to see Bermuda pop up right there. We're likely to see this storm as a Cat 1 move west of Bermuda, where there is a hurricane warning as well. I'll be monitoring that situation, but the timing there is likely to be late Thursday evening, late tomorrow night through there. But again, to reiterate, thunderstorms and some heavier rain breaking out here. Long Island, Exuma, towards Rumkey. The Acklands are likely to start to see some significant rain and storms as well with the gusty winds. This is what it looks like on our high resolution visible satellite imagery. And again, just beginning to see the full circulation emerge off of the southeast side of Cuba. Still going to be some lashing winds for Cuba, and unfortunately more rain for some of those areas. Landslides and mudslides have been a big problem in the aftermath of Melissa. But we'll continue to monitor the situation here at Meteo Mundo as to what will transpire in the Bahamas. And again, down the road, you are looking at a very fast-moving Melissa just west of Bermuda that could bring hurricane conditions briefly to that area late tomorrow night and overnight into Friday morning. Back over to the infrared satellite imagery, I do want to talk more about what has transpired in the aftermath of this storm in some areas. So we're just getting some details from southeast Cuba. The news is not good there with the amount of flooding and some storm surge. The news is very horrible in the Dominican Republic and especially Haiti on the island of Hispaniola. Unfortunately, at least 23 people have died in Haiti from all of the flooding, which total in some areas has reached nearly 40 inches. And it does look like, unfortunately, because there are those missing as well, that the death toll in Haiti and portions of the Dominican Republic are likely to rise. In Jamaica, all right, luckily we've cleared out. Let me be honest, very much so. There's an opportunity that we could still have a few more showers here over the next several hours, if not overnight and into Thursday. So we may not be completely done with the rain. This could drive rainfall totals locally as a total from the storm 24 to 30 inches, all right? Even up to 750 millimeters in some areas. But it has been a quieter day so far. Unfortunately, at least 8 people have lost their lives on Jamaica from Melissa. And when the news starts to trickle in, likely that total is also to go higher too. Remember, this is a deadly, historic storm, especially for the western sides of the island. I have some stories to tell you guys here. This, of course, is from Justin. Now, Justin was giving us videos before, and this was the aftermath video he sent yesterday. I spoke with him today, and he told me that obviously the situation in Treasure Beach is not good. Total destruction in some areas. Total loss of infrastructure as well. No water, no power, no internet, and a lot of the roads are beginning to crumble. And so that means that travel is either impeded, or when those roads fully wash away, travel won't be possible at all. So some areas near Treasure Beach are likely to be cut off. The interesting thing, though, is that this area was hit hardest by Beryl out of all of Jamaica last year. And he told me that he was part of an effort that raised about $500,000 to put more than 120 new roofs on the road that they live on there on Treasure Beach, and that every single one of those roofs actually survived that storm. So, we talk about the hardening of infrastructure in some of these areas, and you see that, some of the new buildings are able to hold on. But he mentioned that everywhere else, it was unfortunately complete and utter devastation, and that's the big story through the western side of the island. Got this video in from Mary Barnard. This is her family that lives in Trelawney Parish, all right? And this is their home, and this is a very common theme as well, as walks through and shows you the roof is gone. So the roof has collapsed, it has fallen into the home, and now you have all of this water inundation, right? Just coming down throughout the entire house and obviously causing a lot of issues there, probably ruining a lot of the furniture and other things. Yes, it's fresh water, but this is major damage. Roofs, windows blown out through so many areas of the western side of the island. So this is a picture of that home on the right-hand side of your screen and another building on the left. Now, I'm not sure how secure or how much built that building was on the left, but you can see that there is a lot of cement block there that is just caved in the middle of that building. So it shows you the winds that we saw there in Trelawney Parish. And again, so many other areas were hit so hard. The Mandeville area, Montego Bay got hit very hard as well. These are just some of the stories. And we talked about how dangerous it was to be out during this storm. Look at this video, my friends. This is what you don't do. You see that piece of roof that's sitting on the side of that building? Watch what happens to this. It comes right for those people. And if they didn't move out of the way in the very last second, they could have been severely injured by that. But that's why you don't go out in those winds that were 150, 175 miles, because it can take things like that and throw them like they're a beanbag. Friends, I appreciate all the support lately. We have our thoughts for everyone who has been impacted by this storm. If you don't mind, take a quick second, hitting the like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so as well. Again, sharing this information is the biggest thing, so please do that. Appreciate all of the new members of the channel. Again, 2 supporter tiers if you would like to. You become a Team M member, for $2.99 a month. You get access to exclusive member short videos as well. Now, I also appreciate all of the patience of my friends across the Caribbean to allow me to tell the story of Melissa over the last couple of days. I know I've been focused on that, but I've got your island by island forecast, and we're going to focus on things in your areas starting right now. So Melissa will continue to churn, moving faster and faster through the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, and Bermuda over the next 24 to 36 hours. Unfortunately, there is still some lingering rain for Cuba, Hispaniola, and portions of Jamaica. Things are beginning to quiet down a bit in other areas at this point in time. Let me put the wind gusts back here, bring those on. But overall, it's been a sunnier day and a quieter day for Puerto Rico, and the U.S. and the British Virgin Islands as well. We're just starting to see some moisture begin to move in with some gusty winds through portions of the Lesser Antilles. Now you get as far north as the Leeward Islands. It has actually been a lovely day there. Again, just a few passing clouds, some shallow moisture to provide the opportunity for a brief shower. But other than that, many dry hours and locations. However, on the doorstep, we have this very large area of tropical disturbance. Now, this is not anything organized at this point in time, but this is a large disturbance or a large tropical wave. I'll continue to closely monitor the situation, even this late in the hurricane season. Something is, not out of the question to develop out of this. None of the models really show that. That being said, this will be a significant rainmaker for portions of the Eastern Caribbean starting tomorrow, and especially as we get into Friday and Saturday, because all of this moisture is going to move into the Lesser Antilles and farther west through the Caribbean as we go into the weekend. Already starting to get some fresh winds out ahead of this in Barbados. Bridgetown had about a 30-mile-an-hour gust earlier. Again, some passing showers and some extra cloud coverage for portions of Guadeloupe and Dominica and Martinique for today, but a lot of sunshine areas south of there, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago. Now, there is a yellow alert for high seas, hazardous seas in TNT, and additional marine issues are likely as this disturbance gets closer and kicks up the sea conditions. I didn't mention it, but you would obviously imagine that marine interests need to be very much in safe harbor in the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, and even into Jamaica as well. Obviously, they were focused on recovery efforts more than anything. Lovely day in the ABC Islands. It's been dry. There hasn't been too much of a breeze as well. Some of the moisture from Melissa was able to work its way into the Caribbean coastline of Central America. So we've had some heavier showers and storms for Panama and Costa Rica lately, where they have had to undergo some flooding issues of their own. Showers and storms are breaking out over Nicaragua and Honduras. The Bay Islands have been an area where we've seen some showers and storms sit over. Look at the good thunderstorm activity today for Utila, Roatan, and Guanaja. The interesting thing is it's been fairly isolated in this area. We haven't had a ton, that has broken out in a wide scale. We've seen a few thunderstorms late on this Wednesday, developing right on the southern side of Belize and the northern coastline of Guatemala. Drier air is trying to sneak in towards the Yucatan. The interesting thing, though, is when I show you, and first of all, you can clearly see the winds that are coming in from this trough. Remember, this was the trough that picked up Melissa and moved it the way that it did. So drier air is coming in right now, but there's a little bit of moisture that could sneak in a couple of showers back towards portions of the Yucatan starting tomorrow. And relatively dry weather is forecast for the Cayman Islands over the next couple of days. So let's look at the rain here. I'm going to go back over to the model real quick and break this out, and we'll loop it up. Let me just drop off some of this tropical stuff for you guys. So that's the wrong variable. That's the rainfall, which again, we'll look at that as well. It's significant. All right, so this is going to be the rain. Again, let me just drop off a couple of these things here so we can see a little bit closer in on this. Obviously, for the Bahamas, the majority of the rain you see over the next couple of days is going to be coming late today and overnight. We're again localized 5 to 10 inches as Melissa moves away. Now, Melissa is moving so fast, it could be a purely tropical system near Bermuda or starting to become extratropical as, we start to lose some of the characteristics of a tropical system here into the higher mid-latitudes. But the bottom line is that sweeping winds and some very squally weather is likely for Bermuda as well. Then behind this, again, here comes our disturbance. Always monitoring the potential for development, but likely to be a broad, disorganized rainmaker with some gusty winds from time to time, starting tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday throughout the entire Lesser Antilles. So all areas are going to have a good chance for rain from Anguilla and Antigua and Barbuda all the way down towards T. Shower chances will also increase for the U.S. and British Virgin Islands and portions of Puerto Rico as well. Unfortunately, what this means is down the road, areas like the Dominican Republic and Haiti that don't need to see any more rain are likely to see their rain chances improve and well, especially on the DR side. But unfortunately, Haiti is likely to get some showers. I'm just hoping it's not enough to add to the already horrific flooding that is going on in that area. And if you do live in the Dominican Republic or Haiti and you have a chance to drop a comment below, please let us know how you guys are doing. We typically have a lot of commenters from the Dominican Republic and we haven't heard from you guys in a while. Obviously, infrastructure is being severely hindered there, a lot of loss of power and internet as well. Showers and storms, again, are likely in a couple of areas of Jamaica overnight. Should be a little bit drier tomorrow, but late Friday and into Saturday, unfortunately, more tropical moisture is likely to come back over this area. So hopefully those homes that have an opportunity to at least bring some temporary cover to their roofing, we hope we get that done in the next 48 hours. But there is such wide destruction in the western side of the island, that's going to be hard to do. Traveling is hard. The infrastructure is just gone in so many areas, and even the ability to get gas and to be able to travel is likely to be hindered. By the way, both airports, especially the Montego Bay Airport, suffered some major damage as well. So getting in and out of the country is likely to be a very, very slow process. Showers, heavier rain likely to continue for the southern half of Central America. Drier air a little bit more. And again, you notice that trough pushes a little bit of rain towards the western sides of Cuba, portions of the Yucatan. Still expecting just isolated showers for Belize and a slightly better chance for rain for portions of Honduras. The Cayman Islands would be included in getting a better rain chance as we get closer to the weekend. So island by island, again, the northwest Bahamas, just far enough away from Melissa's wrath, where we're on the drier side, being on the western edge. So Grand Bahama and New Providence looks good with a few showers tomorrow and then a 20% chance Friday and Saturday. Still some rain will linger at least through the first half of Thursday in the central and southeast Bahamas before rain chances fall and we dry out, which of course is good news. Look for additional rain early on Thursday in Turks and Caicos, then getting drier on Friday and Saturday. Cuba's rain chances will fall a bit, but then elevate again on Saturday. Cayman Islands rain chances will build through Saturday as well, and just isolated rain for Belize City and Cancun and Cozumel. After the showers tonight, Relatively dry the remainder of Thursday and Friday, but increasing rain and even a few thunderstorms on the board for Jamaica on Saturday. Unfortunately, there's the building rain chance to the Dominican Republic and Haiti. Puerto Rico's rain chances rise as the disturbance moves east to west, and you'll see that as a building chance throughout the rest of the Eastern Caribbean. So U.S. and British Virgin Islands tomorrow, just a 30% chance. 60 Friday, 70 on Saturday. High likelihood of obviously rain as Melissa passes by late Thursday, early on Friday in Bermuda, and then drier on Saturday. Anguilla, St. Kitts and Nevis, 40 tomorrow, but a 60 to a 70% chance on Friday and Saturday. And that's what you're going to see through the entire Lesser Antilles. A more isolated to scattered rain chance tomorrow, a very elevated rain chance with some heavier rain in areas and some gusty winds on Friday. And for the northern half of the islands, still a high chance on Saturday all the way down towards Martinique, especially for places like Antigua, Montserrat, Guadeloupe, and Dominica, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines. Rain chances fall off a little bit quicker, but you've got a really solid chance on Friday. Same situation for Barbados, and we already had the 30-mile-an-hour winds today, and we're going to get some good gusts in these areas the next couple of days to continue to turn up the marine conditions. So continuing to see surf advisories and small craft advisories and swell advisories throughout the various islands will be highly likely over the weekend. TNT 40 tomorrow, 70 Friday, 50 on Saturday. High rain chances in Suriname and Guyana. Nueva Esparta's rain chances will build, and we'll see a few more showers in the ABC Islands on Saturday. So obviously, again, looking at our marine interests, hurricane conditions, we're going to throw some swells even to the eastern coastline of the United States. The offshore waters of the Bahamas, meaning in the open waters of the Atlantic, should have some double-digit wave heights the next couple of days. We'll be monitoring if this is going to push in, significant enough wave action, but we are looking at probably 8 to 10 foot waves. So, 2 to 3, maybe 3.5 meters from time to time. And that is likely to drive back into the Central Caribbean as well. So we're likely to elevate the sea conditions as that disturbance moves through. And of course, anytime we get a disturbance like this, even this time of the year, I'm closely monitoring for potential tropical development. But again, that appears to be somewhat unlikely at this point in time. Along Melissa's path, again, 5 to 10 inches of rain locally in the Bahamas. The interesting thing is down the road, we are going to see the potential for some extremely heavy rainfall in the southern sides of Central America, Panama, Costa Rica, the coastal areas of Nicaragua and Honduras. And you can see that next disturbance, especially into the Lesser Antilles, where additional heavy rain is likely there. I don't like to see the rainfall totals again fairly high through the southern sides of Haiti. And some of this doesn't even include what's already fallen already. This model started this morning, so it's not like it's taking into account, obviously, the rain from most of Melissa. So to see a few more inches of rain on the board over the next couple of days is not a good scenario there. Friends, of course, please remember that Meteo Mundo is sponsored by the Lean Law Firm of Central Florida, your hometown homeowners insurance attorneys. They offer free consultation and policy reviews, and they'll walk you through every step of the insurance claim process. You get damage of any kind, go to leanomnilaw.com for more information. You can also follow us across all of our social media platforms. We're on Instagram, TikTok, X, and Facebook. Send me a picture and video. Easiest way to do that is myMediaMundo@gmail.com. Obviously, I'll be keeping a very close eye on Melissa, have the latest updates for you right here on the channel. Our thoughts are with everyone who has been impacted by the storm and who will be impacted by the storm today and tomorrow as well. Friends, I'll see you soon right here at Meteo Mundo.